Hey everybody, this is Anthony from Into the Dark Room, and today we're going to be talking about the design options you have in the back end of the Brooklyn website template. And right now I am in the design tab of the back end of our template. And I'm going to go through some of these options with you just to kind of give you an idea of what you can do and what different options you have. So under the settings tab we have image caption background color, and anytime that there's an image caption, which is right here, you are going to see this background color. So you can go ahead and create a background color so that your text is a little bit more readable than if it was just on the image. So this is going to be the background color. Any of our color options, you can either just copy and paste a Photoshop hex code right here if you have a specific code, or you can just go ahead and select from the colors within here. And if you were to just pick a color, that's how it works. The image caption foreground color is going to be this white color right here. So this white text is going to lay over this darker color in the background. You have the image caption opacity. So if you wanted to, you could turn this up or down. If you needed it to be darker because you find that your text isn't really legible on the different images, you can turn that background up and make it less opaque. And then you have the info page aspect ratio. So right now we have the info page set up where the image is on top of the text, and if it's on top of the text, we're going to use the 16:9 ratio, which is the album aspect ratio. And if it's side by side, so if the text is on the left and the image is on the right, then we're going to use this 6:9 aspect ratio. Now you can feel free to change these aspect ratios. This is just what we set up for our demo. So I'm going to go ahead and click over to our portfolio, and I'm going to pick one of our galleries to take a look at. And so when we're talking about the album aspect ratio, again, it's this 16:9. So right now I have these images set to 1600 by 900. The next item down is the album arrows color, and that's going to be these arrows right here. So you have these arrows on the left and right to advance backwards and forwards through the album. You have the album controls foreground, and so I'm going to move this over a little bit. You can see that right here I have some controls. If I had music, you'd have another set of controls over here that you can pause the music or mute the music. And so that's going to be these album control foreground colors, and then the album control highlight color will be a rollover state. So you can see that when I roll over this button right here, it gets a little bit darker. The next item down is the thumbnail arrows color, which are going to be these right here. And then you have the thumbnail height and the thumbnail width. I like my thumbnails to be a little larger, and I like them to be square, so I set them to be 100 pixels by 100 pixels. You can play around with that and see what you like. You can make them smaller or larger. And then we have some contact form options. So I'm going to go ahead and open up our contact form. And when we're talking about the contact form, we're talking about mostly these options over here. So you have the contact form background color, and that's going to be in here. You have the contact form stroke color, which is going to be this gray line around the box of the field. You have the background invalid color and the stroke invalid color. So that means that if I were to go ahead and not populate something correctly, it's going to go ahead and show me what's not populated in red. And then I have the contact form text color, which is going to be this right here where it says name. And then where you're typing it in. So when you type in name here, it's going to be that color. And then the placeholder color is where it says like your email. So that's that light gray right here. Now, anytime you make changes, you go ahead and click save at the bottom. Or if you don't want to make the changes, you can go ahead and click cancel. And then we're going to move on to the logo tab. So the logo is right here. And you have a couple of different options with the logo. I'm going to skip over the first option because I want to go straight to what we have up here. And all we did is we just typed in the logo text. So you can go ahead and type in your studio name, and you can change the color of it. You can change the size of it down here. And then this margin right here is the distance between the logo and the body. So you can go ahead and change that. If you want to upload a logo, you can go ahead and upload a logo with this option here, which is site logo. You want to make sure it's a minimum of 40 pixels. Try not to make your logo too large. It'll definitely throw off the whole format of the site. You want to keep your logo around like 200 pixels wide. Some people I've seen in the past will upload a logo that's like 800 pixels, and that's going to take up the majority of the browser, so that's not something you want to do. So you can go ahead and click upload now. You could find it on your computer. If you're going to have a logo that's Retina display ready, you're going to go ahead and click true, and you would upload it twice the size as you normally would. So if it would normally be 200 pixels wide, you would upload a 400 pixel wide logo, and you would click true. And then if you liked just the ability to type this in and you want to go ahead and just change the font that we have there, you can go ahead and in another video watch how to upload fonts, and you can put a font in there so that you can just go ahead and put the font in, type your name, and manage it in that way. So really you can upload an image or you can type in your logo. And then down here you have the ability to link the logo to a specific page. So right now it's going to link to whatever our home is, and then if we wanted to link it somewhere else, so if you have like multiple sites with us and you want to link that logo somewhere, you can. And then this is for your mobile view, your logo position. Sometimes the logo doesn't look right if it's left justified in the mobile version, so we give you the option to kind of play with that left, centered, or right. And then the next tab is the body tab. So the body is going to be this area where the content sits. So I'm going to go to an info page so I can show you a little bit clearer some of your options. Your maximum width, I have it set to 1200 for our demo. That's the maximum size that this body can be. So if the browser is bigger than that, it's not gonna get bigger than that. And then you have the padding tightness. That padding tightness, you can play around with this and you'll see what it does, but it will. I'll go ahead and I'll turn this down to 0. I have it up to the maximum, and when I click save and I refresh this, you're going to see that it takes everything and it tightens it all up. The maximum that I had it will kind of give everything a little bit more breathing room. So I like to come in here and I like to turn that padding up, and then it'll give everything a little bit more breathing room. So watch the tightness coming out of here. You'll see that now it's creating a lot more space in here, and it kind of gives it that roomy look. You have a border width. The border width is going to be this right here. I'm going to change the color so you can see what it looks like as far as the border. So I'm going to refresh this. And what I did was on this border is I made it 50 pixels to give it that matte look, and I made it the same color as the body. So when it was white, it just kind of like flowed and created this matte look. But your border width, you can turn this down to just a couple of pixels, and when you do that, it'll just create like a line. So you can see how you could take out that matte. To get that look back, I just turn it up to 50. I turn that border color to white. I click save, and you're going to see this little yellow line get wide, and it's going to turn white again. And again, it's going to give us that like that matte finish kind of look, where it gives us a lot of that negative space. You also have the opportunity to change the background accent color. I'm sorry, the body background color, which is going to be in here. So anything that wasn't yellow at the time. And then you have the body accent color. So you can go ahead and change that color, and you'll see that it'll just create different areas. So the best place to look at that is on an info list. And you can see that if I change this and I just pick a color, it's all white right now, but it'll make divisions in the color, so it becomes an accent color. And so you can do that. Note that if you do that, it's going to add that color to all the different pages. You're going to have to go through and kind of see how that looks and see if that's an option you want. I'm going to change this back. And then you can make the background transparent if you wanted to. So if you wanted to have the turn that transparency on, all you have to do is click true and click save. You have the body shadow color. So right now I have the shadow turned down to 0. So I've turned this shadow off, and I have the opacity set to 20. So I'm going to turn this on a little bit. I'm just going to turn the shadow width to about 15, and you're going to see that this will add a drop shadow on the body. So it's right now the color set to black. It is 15 pixels wide, and the opacity is 20. I'm going to click save. I'm going to refresh this, and now you're going to see the body will have a drop shadow on it. It's a really light drop shadow, so let me go ahead and bump this up a little more so we can see it. There we go. And so you have this drop shadow in here, and you can play around with that. I'm going to go ahead and turn this down and click save, and we can go ahead and refresh this when we're ready. And then the last item is the background. So I'm going to switch to another page real quick. And you can see that our background right now is this really light gray on top and really light gray on the bottom. And if I wanted to change that, it's just this right here. So you'll see that we have one color blending into another, but let's say we wanted it to blend into like a yellow. We can create this gradient by having the two colors. And when I click save, you'll see that it blends this gray into this yellow when I refresh it. So it'll blend that gray into that yellow. And if I make my browser a little bit larger, yeah, you can see a little bit more of that. So, and then one of the last options that you have is to go ahead and add a background image. So if you wanted to upload a graphic back there, so if you had some sort of pattern or something that you want to do, you can upload it there. You can upload it so it takes up the whole background like an image by clicking upload new, or if you have some sort of tile, you can go ahead and tile it through this drop down here, so it could fill the frame. You can tile it horizontally or tile it vertically. All in all, that's the options that you have. The last tab up here we cover in a completely different video, so you can go ahead and watch that to go ahead and change your fonts. But I hope that that was helpful and it gets you through the design tab so you can customize the template the way you want it to look. Thanks so much for watching.